You are listening to Unequaled with Jaycee Carroll and Ajay Salveson. But first, our friends, the Painted Roses.
Of the Unequaled podcast. Thanks for joining us, however, wherever you're doing so. Season 2. Like everyone, JC, everyone has a show. Like I see all these TV shows, and they're like, oh, season finale, new season coming like in the fall. We just had I guess it was like an impromptu season finale, because I had no idea we were going to do a podcast for like the next 4 weeks. I just texted you, and you're like, I'm going to be in Spain, so...
it's summer hiatus.
September.
The summer hiatus. We gotta... I don't think we could blow out just every single week for 12 months out of the year. So I think it's nice, get away, hang out a little bit, have some new life experiences.
You were just sick of being around me for like 18 straight weeks. You were just like, well, I need a break.
Oh, well, that's a given.
Honey, let's go to Spain. Let's just get away from Ajay.
That's a given.
I text you and I'm like, hey, do you want to do a podcast this week? Actually, what I meant to say, Ajay, is let's start in September. Oh, my bad. I wasn't reading between the lines here.
Yeah.
I see all those photos. You're all on the plane. How was Spain, by the way? We were there for 16 days. What do you do besides look at all your highlights of, your gold medals and stuff?
Yeah. No, Spain was great. Honestly, as I left Spain, I spent 12 years of my life in Spain. 2 of my kids were born there. Well, sorry, 3 of my kids were born there. And that was as much home as anywhere that we've ever been. So after my first year of retirement, I kind of sat in my living room, and I got invited to speak to a group of students up at Utah State, and because they were going to Spain. And so they invited me to come talk to them, kind of tell them about Spain, tell them things to go check out and answer questions. And as I got through doing that, I pulled up Google Maps. I showed them streets. I showed them restaurants to go eat at in Madrid. And it made me really homesick. It made me really miss it. So I got home, and I called the president of the club of basketball Gran Canaria. And he was a former teammate. I played with him. And I said, look, man, I need a reason or an excuse and an opportunity to bring my entire family back to Spain every single year so we don't lose that part of our life. And I said, I'm willing to do a basketball camp. I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to come out. And I said, let's plan for next year. He goes, no, let's not wait. Let's start this year. So and that was 2 years ago. So this is the second year we've done it. But basically, we put together a camp in Spain where we invite high-level European athletes. Well, actually, anyone. We get some Americans over if we wanted. And we treat them as if they're professionals. They show up. They get jersey, practice stuff, a box of gear with their names on it. And we play basketball. We teach them basketball for 7 days, like 6 hours a day. Specifically, I taught shooting and shooting drills and the mental aspects of shooting. And so I spent 7 days in Spain doing that. And then I had the next 7 days of just vacation with my family. So we go there, we stay in a house, we're at the beach, I teach basketball, and then we finish up the trip in Madrid. So to make a really short story long, that's why I go to Spain. That's why I hang out there, to give my family an opportunity to remember and experience all the places that we lived for so long.
Do your kids understand that part of your I know they were too young when you were there or when you guys were living there, but now do they understand that part of your life, you and Bailey's?
Yeah, we say they're too young, honestly. I mean, my kids were 13? My oldest was 13 when we left, so she fully comprehended what we did, what we were.
Does she miss it at all?
Oh, she misses a ton.
Really?
She's completely bilingual. She has friends there. She talks all the time. She's like, I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna go to school in Spain, is kind of what she says. Now, she's coming around to all the great opportunities we have here, but yeah, she misses it. She loved it. My next 2 kids, they still remember it. And it's funny because we'll be there and they're like, oh, Dad, I remember this place. Oh, Dad, I remember this. I'm like, yeah, it is. Now, they don't have any comprehension of how unique it is to take a family vacation to Europe. That's something I never could have done as a kid.
I've never been out of the country in my life.
Yeah. So for them, it's like driving to Evanston, Wyoming to visit grandma and grandpa. It just is kind of normal life. They don't understand what kind of a unique opportunity that is. They will, and they'll appreciate the opportunity they have. But from the outside, yeah, it's like, oh, they're in Spain, but that was our second home. So it's just kind of like going home and visiting a place that we love.
Carrie Nilton and her team at Gill Mortgage of Logan, Utah are committed to great customer service even after your loan closes. Karen and her team want you to experience knowledge, communication, and building that long-lasting business relationship. Make Gill Mortgage your trusting partner.
That's awesome. My summer was in Bear Lake. Like, every day was in Bear Lake. And people always ask me, they say, like, don't you hate driving? Honestly, it was the most therapeutical drive.
Oh, yeah.
And there was actually days where I would just drive with nothing in my ears. Because usually I'm listening to a podcast. Like, there's this podcast called Unequaled. I listen to it all the time. I love it. But I realized I would drive and I would just take everything out and I'd just be silent and it'd just be me and my thoughts. And it was so therapeutical, that drive. I love it. So, I mean, of course, I work at Bridgewood Adventure Park. We had to shut down our season. It's kind of interesting, like, how business can be, like, in the economy can be so, like, just fluctual. I mean, we thought we'd be sincerely busy and absolutely downright busy, like, in the summer, and it was dead. It really wasn't that busy at all.
This summer?
Oh, yeah, not at all. Not compared to, like, last year or 2 years ago, where it was just insanely busy. And then there's other businesses down there in Bear Lake where they weren't busy at all either. They have the same issues. Some places couldn't even staff because they couldn't find the kids, the staff. And we had a staff. I mean, we hired the most people we'd ever hired at that park. And we shut down earlier than we ever have because all the employees had to leave. Some went on missions to serve church missions. Some went and got married. Some just wanted to get away. Like, the job was too much for them, and they literally just wanted to leave. And so I think about, you're talking about how, you guys were able to take a family trip to Europe and how lucky that is for you guys. And I think even some kids don't understand, like, a summer job and what they get to, be in Bear Lake for a whole entire summer, and then we house them until they don't have to pay $1 in rent. They house for free. Jody Webb cooks these lunches for them and makes food for them, and their lunch is half off, but we pay them really well. And yet there's these kids who are like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And it was amazing. It was amazing to see just a generation of, I guess I got to be really careful how I say this, but I don't know, some kids, like 5 years ago, kids loved that place and they wanted to work there every day. And now some kids are like, dude, I don't want to be here. I only want to be here 3-4 days a week at that and be done. And we had to shut down early. Our last opening day to the public was August 17th. We're open to a few private groups, and that's it. Then we're done, and it's over. And we've been open for Labor Day weekend the last 5 years. So this will be the first year we haven't. And it's just, I don't know. It was weird. Like,
is it because of staffing issues or there weren't the same visitors?
No, it was staffing issues.
Right.
So when we were down there this past weekend, we actually had someone down there this past weekend, and they said it was so busy in town that he almost guarantees we would have made $15,000 in a day with business. But I mean, and now I get it. Again, people get married, people go on missions, whatever happens. But then, like I said, there's just some staff members who are like, I just don't want to do this anymore. It was amazing. It was the most weirdest mentality I'd ever seen in the 6 years I had been there. But I spent the majority of my summer in Bear Lake. So it wasn't Europe.
Bear Lake's great.
It's beautiful.
It's unbelievably nice in the summer.
It's beautiful.
It's a few degrees cooler. Beautiful sights. Bear Lake's awesome.
Yeah, I love that area. Yeah, it's awesome. And Bridgewood Adventure Parks has been wonderful. I don't know how long, like, it's interesting because that place could exist for a long, long time. And depending on what our owner, Claire Webb, wants to do with it, I mean, he might want to, he might sell it off when he passes away or whatever he decides to do. But I know there's a couple family members in that family who want that park to exist for a very long time. And it could be interesting, what happens. And I mean, I think there's a way you got to hire better and whatnot, but that's all by trial and error. So, we're recording this podcast. What's the date today? August 29th. So it's a Thursday. A big shout out to our USC women's soccer team. Beat Utah and did a 7-match losing streak to Utah Utes in Salt Lake. They have BYU on Saturday night. Season opener for football, speaking of Saturday. They get Robert Morris, Nate Dryling's head coaching debut. Volleyball picks up, I think, next week. I think they're in full go here. About a week or so. Rob Middleton and his crew. Like, this is a fun part of the year for sports-wise, though. This is exciting times for Utah State. But Manny Martin's soccer, man, I don't know if you have a chance to go to a match yet, but they beat Texas Tech, who was a Sweet 16 team a year ago in the NCAA tournament. They beat them. In fact, Jaycee, they have not allowed a goal yet this season.
It's unbelievable. Honestly, there are a few local girls that play on the team.
Yeah.
A few local girls that have been recruited that will be on the team next year. I know I'm good friends with Darren Christensen. He has a lot to do with the youth soccer program here in the Valley. And he actually reached out to a whole bunch of us on a text chat. I don't want to say the girl's wrong name, but one of his girls started as a freshman in the very first game.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And she scored a goal.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
So she sent, so he put a little group message together with like me, Ty Wesley Spencer, Gary, and said, hey, any words of advice for this freshman that's coming in to start her first Utah State game? And so we all gave her some words of advice, and then we got a message a few hours later that said, she scored her first goal. And so, yeah, we're interested and we like to be involved with what's going on. So awesome.
I mean, it really is amazing. And we actually had their soccer team at our adventure park. We did a program with them, and we had a chance to kind of, and part of the program was like helping them get to know each other, learning goals and whatnot, and building team chemistry. And like you, I don't think Utah State, at least Aggie Nation, I hope they'll understand and appreciate who Manny Martins is and what he's doing.
Yeah, I think
He is amazing.
that's what I've heard. I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Oh, he's
I
incredible.
really have. So
We need to get him on our podcast again.
I think, yeah, and honestly, just being around sports and growing up in it, I love to see and hang out with people that are having success.
Yeah.
And try to figure out why and be a part of it. So I might have to see if he'd be kind of, let me sit and practice.
Oh, he would. Oh, absolutely. I guarantee you he would. He's so, and when we had him on the park, like I asked the girls, Kylie Olsen, and a couple others, just what their experience of having Coach Martins be their coach. And they said he's just as great off the field as he is on the field. And that's almost what you want to hear from any player as a coach, right? Who you are off the field is just as great as who you are on the field, but what they're doing is phenomenal. They get BYU on Saturday night. Again, we're recording this a couple of days earlier than that, so hopefully that results in a win. Football again against Robert Morris. They kick off their season on Saturday night, and then 2 really tough games at USC and home against Utah before they head to Temple and play. In fact, Jaycee, they play home against Robert Morris, and they're at USC. Then they're home against Utah, and then they don't play at home for an entire month. They're
So get your tickets.
Yeah, let's support this team. Nate Dryling, I think.
Especially while the weather's nice for these games.
Oh, I know. Well, we got a bunch of day games, which is good. I think all our night games are on the road. Washington State, USC's a 9 o'clock game. Washington State's a late game that's on the road. Wyoming's a road game on the road at night, I think. I'm not sure about the Colorado State game, but yeah, a bunch of day games in the home. I mean, at home is great. 2:30 games, I think the Utah game's a 2:30 start. In New Mexico's like a 3 o'clock start. So it's awesome. I love that. Volleyball, Rob Middleton, back-to-back to Mountain West Conference champs. They're amazing, and we've had Rob on our podcast, and I love his mindset when building a volleyball team. I had a chance to go watch a couple practices. They're going to be good. They're going to be really, really good again. Like, what women's sports is doing right now? Utah State's amazing, but Rob Nielsen's got that thing. That train, that's humming.
Yeah, it is. He's got it moving. We've had him on because I've been fortunate to have breakfast with him and listen to him. And he's inspiring, he's motivated, he's interesting. And I think he obviously gets the best out of his girls. He's doing something that no one else in the conference is. And I love being around people that excel at whatever work of life they do. He happens to be a coach, but there's so much you can learn from him, things that can inspire you. And so, yeah, he's killing it. Everyone should definitely go support Club Estes.
Speaking of Utah State, I'm going to put you on the spot here. There have been some changes up from the athletics department.
Yeah.
Some people were let go. And some movement was made. And then there are things that seemed to somewhat cool down. And then there's a letter that came out and was signed by current and former players. I know that there's some questions of credibility of that letter because some, I guess, people came out and said, hey, I gave permission to sign that letter at all, but your name was also on it. Can you tell a little bit how that came to be and your thoughts on the whole situation?
Yeah, well, it was pretty simple. There are a couple individuals up there that have, they are true blood Aggies. They've been in the part of the athletics program, specifically Emmy Crosby, since she was a player. It's unbelievably cool when we can take somebody that has been a student athlete and watch them rise through the ranks of our university and our Aggie family to be in leadership positions. I personally have known Amy Crosby since 2005 when she was in the student athlete services. I spent many hours in her office talking about classes, talking about college life, talking about balancing the workload of school and Division I athletics. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. And so when some of these dismissals came down, honestly, a lot of us were very shocked. We couldn't understand it. And the thing that was hard to wrap our heads around was there wasn't really much of an explanation given. And the articles that came out in the news almost attacked these two characters, the character of these guys, which is impeccable. Jerry Bovee, ever since I retired, he's been nothing but great and gracious with me, and willing to talk, willing to listen, and have conversations. So I'm very endeared to Jerry Bovee and Amy Crosby. I think they've done a wonderful job over many, many, many years. And the articles that came out, it almost gave very little explanation as to why, and it made it almost seem like they had done something really inappropriate and attacked their character. And I wasn't okay with that, and this group wasn't okay with that. Like, if there was something that they needed to do differently, great, but it made it seem like their character was under attack. So I don't know if anyone's even read the letter, but it came about quite simply. We have Utah State athletes that have gone on in life to do amazing things outside of athletics. Athletics was just the start for us, and Utah State was that. We love the university. We love what it gave us, and we're very grateful for what it gave us. And so some of the former athletes got together and said, hey, let's write a letter just asking for some explanations, some investigations in it. Again, I don't know if anyone's even read it. There's nothing controversial in this note. It's a one-pager. It's addressed to the board members and trustees. And it's simply something that I'll read from it a little bit. It says, and I don't want to skip through stuff, but it says the universities provide very little information concerning Mr. Bovee's and no information concerning Mrs. Crosby's sudden dismissals. While we do not know the facts and circumstances that led to their dismissals at this time, We believe that any information that does not come out will undoubtedly attack the credibility and the character of Mr. Bovey and Mrs. Crosby. The dismissal of two true-blooded Aggies unquestionably will negatively impact current and future USU student athletes. Mr. Bovey is a university graduate and has been involved in college athletics for decades, having focused his efforts on student athlete success. Mrs. Crosby was a standout volleyball player for the university and knows firsthand what challenges, needs, and support USU student athletes need. Following a decorated playing career, Mrs. Crosby worked for the university as an academic coordinator and then as the executive associate athletic director. So it starts out, we just outline their background. They're an Aggie through and through. And then it just talks about everything that they have given to us as student athletes, as far as, Mrs. Crosby. Our collective experience with Mrs. Crosby has shown that she has always stood up for what is right and ensured that student athletes' success, safety, and well-being was in the forefront of any decision she made. More importantly, she cares about the student athletes as people, especially working closely with young women, helping them grow into strong, confident women. Because of Mrs. Crosby's experience as a student athlete, we personally know their efforts have elevated the experiences of former and current USU student athletes, treating them with nothing but respect and care. The dismissal is a loss for current and future athletes of the whole of Utah State Athletics, and a loss that will be felt immediately moving forward. So we really just kind of line out what they've done for us and what we feel like they've done for student athletes. And then this is the ask. We can, and then we say we can unequivocally, without any hesitation, state that they are individuals of integrity and prioritize doing the right thing. And we truly feel like that. And then the ask was simple. In light, we request a full and transparent investigation into their dismissal. We request the investigation be conducted by a third party that does not have any relationship with the university, the athletics, or any university employee involved in their dismissal, including any prior relationships to an individual being employed by the university. So we just ask for a thorough investigation that's transparent. It's kind of common sense things, in my opinion, for two individuals that have given so much to Utah State. To be honest, I'm not on any message boards. So whatever stuff is out there, I'm happy to say yes or no on rumors that you might hear. What is causing so much heartburn for people?
Let me. I'm going to ask these questions just from what some people will say. So they did an investigation, and this is what they found. So your response to this outside investigation that they did on the situation of what they investigated. What's your response to that? I mean, if they do an investigation, they say, well, we found this, this, and this to be true.
Right.
In our set of investigation.
It's not a third party. It's an interior investigation with the findings. And theirs is great. But let's have a little bit cleaner explanation as to why these people were dismissed.
So when that letter came to be, who put that letter together, or who brought the whole idea together?
Brennan Ray.
Okay. And did he just call you guys, or did he text? I mean, how that's
call, text, email, any way that modern form of communication that we have was used. There were multiple drafts that were written up. It was read by us and sent back with things we wanted to change, things we wanted to update. It was very much not a passion project. It was very much something that was important to a lot of us former players that have received so much from these two people.
Was Jerry Amy involved?
No, they didn't even know it.
Just totally
to this day, I still haven't talked to Amy. And she lives
down the road from you.
She lives 20 minutes from, or not 20 minutes. She lives 2 minutes from me.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to her. I've wanted to let the dust settle, reach out, and just say, hey, thank you for everything you've done.
So
I read her letter in the newspaper,
classy as all get out, wasn't it?
Very classy.
My goodness gracious, how...
What was it? I choose gratitude.
Yeah.
Kind of the title.
Yeah.
I resonate with that.
Really good letter. So there's a bunch of names on the letter. Yours is on it, but then there's also some credibility or question to the credibility because Isaac Johnson came out and on a social media post and said, "I never gave permission to put my name on the letter."
Is he the only one?
I know that there are others. At least it's been said that there were others as well. I don't know who those others are. You gave permission to be on that letter then?
Yep.
And then others around you, Gary Wilkinson and those guys, did they do the same thing as well?
Yeah, we all read it and gave feedback on what should be in it.
Okay. But does it question the credibility? And I'm going to just play devil's advocate as I can. But does it question the credibility of the letter if student athletes come out and say, either former or current, and say, "I never put my name on that letter, or I never gave permission"?
No, not at all. I mean, from what I understand, and again, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
I love Isaac Johnson. I think
Only do.
I don't know who, if, or anyone reached out to him. I really have no idea.
Yeah.
But if he says he didn't consent to it, I mean, I don't think he's lying.
No, me either.
I really have no idea about that specific situation, but I do know there's a text thread between a lot of us student athletes, and everyone was there's no question about the credibility. It came from student athletes, 100%. It's from student athletes. Now, how many signed it? 50, 60, 100 names. I don't know how many names are on it. If one out of the 100 names says they didn't get permission, I think 99 provides plenty of credibility.
Former Skyview quarterback and Utah State football walk-on Ted Stokes has established the #1 bankruptcy law firm in the state of Utah. Stokes' law playbook is helping individuals and businesses overcome tough financial situations. If you are facing garnishment, repossession, foreclosure, or just overwhelming debt, give Stokes Law a call at 435-213-4771 or visit their website at stokesbankruptcy.com. That's stokesbankruptcy.com. Stokes Law is a debt relief agency and provides guidance under the United States Bankruptcy Code.
Any response back? Have you heard of any response back from those that you requested?
No, and to be honest, no, I don't understand. What are you asking?
Sorry, so any response from the board?
No, I haven't heard anything. And to be perfectly honest, as much as anything, this was a show of support for the wonderful people and the job that Amy and Jerry have done. And we felt like that needed to be on record, that these people did a good job, that these people thought hard, worked hard for student athletes. We thought that was important because the way things came out, this could ruin their careers moving forward at any other university. And I do not think that's fair. If they were wanted or needed up here at Utah State at this time, that's one thing. But to shed light on character issues and make it seem like there were character flaws that could ruin their careers going forward at other universities or at this university, I don't think that's okay. Because there's been so many years of service with flawed service without as so much as a red mark anywhere. To have something like this kind of ruin a whole career, I don't think is right. I don't think it's okay. And we felt it was important to go on record, and so we could at least state and say, we think they've done a great job. They've always cared about student athletes. That needs to be understood. Now, I honestly don't know how much weight this stuff carries when it comes to the board of trustees. I think we're dropping the bucket. I think there are other people that have a much stronger influence than we do, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I have no interest in being political at Utah State or anything like that. But these two individuals have done a great job for athletics and student athletes for a long time. And their credibility should not be in question, or their efforts to take great care of student athletes should not be in question at this point.
And I think for me, I got to be really careful how I dive into this conversation based on my job or all that stuff. But Jerry always treated me like one of the guys. Jerry always treated me like one of the guys. He never separated and said, "Hey, look, you're a radio engineer and nobody cares, man." He always made me feel like I was part of the group, and which was amazing. And he always was able to relate to me and ask about my life outside of the radio business and outside of Utah State. And it was amazing. And Amy, I can't tell you how many times as a SID 2 years ago for women's basketball, how many times I was in Amy's office for various reasons. Some of it was just to go in and just say hi to her. And door was always open. She always asked me to sit down. We always had a conversation longer than 2 or 3 minutes, and she never said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go."
Yeah.
She never rushed you out. She always wanted to listen to you. And she wanted to hear about you and your comments, your thoughts, your questions, your opinions, your concerns, and she never made you feel like it never was gonna be just brushed off to the side. Like Amy treated me like better than I deserved. And I agree with you on their character, just how great of just people they are. And like I said, I got really lucky being around them for as long as I did. Not like, and I didn't have the relationship that you did with those guys, but I thought mine was pretty impactful upon me. Honestly, you just say.
Yeah. And again, this wasn't it. The press release that came out, I think it was for sexual misconduct or something that is left for wild interpretation. And I don't think that's okay the way that was released. Like, let's be a lot more specific as to what the reasons are that were given. And you notice the letter, it talks specifically about Jerry and Amy Crosby. Because given our experience, the people that went, we can't. I don't know Blake Anderson. I don't know him very well. My brief interactions with him were very positive. I don't know him as well. I can't speak to his character with any sort of authority like I could with the others. And so it's very specific to those two. And I honestly don't know what's happening on the Blake Anderson front. I have not been that involved or inquisitive as to what's going on. But what I can speak to is all the great service of Jerry Bovey and Amy Crosby.
Yeah, that's right. Let's hop on to a positive side of things. We were talking about Bridget Adventure Park, which is one of our sponsors of our podcast. Stokes Lawn Firm's another one. It's a great job. Abode & Co. Real Estate, Guild Mortgage, and then the spa. And man, I was calling you a couple weeks ago about asking about the spa, and it sounds like you guys had some big news on that side front.
Yeah, we have some really big news. So my wife and I, my wife and the Wilkinsons jumped into the spa industry about a year ago now. Well, last October, and we built something where we wanted people to come in and leave feeling better about themselves. It was an overall wellness, offering massages, and all the things you do at med spas, laser hair treatments and anti-aging and fillers and Botox and all those things that leave people feeling better as they leave. And we built it out. It's a beautiful space. We have a great staff. And as we got going down the road, we realized it was taking up a lot of our time and energy. And we, a Utah-born company reached out and called Spa Trouvé. And Spa Trouvé offered to do a merger acquisition with us, which I think is unbelievably great. It brings in so much expertise. It brings in so many years of experience, and so many new services to Cache Valley. And so, yeah, we did a merger acquisition with them. We still held some ownership in the overall Spa Trouvé product, but we now have accounts that are nationally, top 5 accounts. We have injectors and stuff that now have 13, 14 years of experience. And it's just going to be a wonderful place that continue to grow. There's going to be a grand opening, kind of a grand relaunch, grand opening with lots of great discounts and services. And that'll be sometime in October, I think October 7th or something like that. And so, yeah, we need everyone to show up and make that place amazing.
That's all. When is that? October 7th?
I think it's October 7th.
Okay.
And you'll start to see new signage on the outside of the Gil Mortgage building. I actually think the sign goes up today. We're going to be Spa Trouvé, top of Utah. And they have 7 locations from St. George all the way up to Utah, or Logan. So going to be able to offer a bunch of wonderful things that weren't previously offered.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. So season 2 of this podcast, we have a couple guests lined up already. Coming up in our next podcast, we'll be speaking of business and successful people that you like to be around. How about the CEO of Schreiber Foods? Ron Dunford is going to join us here live in person in Logan. He's actually bringing his twice a year in May and in September. He brings his company, his corporate side, over to the adventure park in Bear Lake, and they do this team program together with us. And the guy who does the team program, Patrick Bentley, will be there to watch the podcast with us, but Ron Dunford will be there. And I'm excited to talk to a business guy who's been as successful in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and what his thoughts are on how to build a business and to run as successfully as he has.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
That's going to be really amazing.
Yeah, anytime you get to be around people that have had success, there's something you can learn from them. And I don't think we've been any strangers on the podcast. We've been around successful wrestlers, basketball players, soccer players, track athletes, and now we're moving off into some business world with some people that have been extremely successful. So there's things to learn, lessons to learn. It's motivational to get out. So looking forward to these guests, looking forward to continuing doing this podcast. I think I mentioned another one, but I was talking to Ajay the other day, and I told him in college I had this idea that I thought would be really fun, and it was interviewing people. Podcast wasn't a big thing back in 2005, 6, 7. Podcasting wasn't a big thing. Now it seems like everyone has a podcast.
Yeah.
It really does.
On everything, yeah.
On everything. But I just sat back and I had this curiosity of how people ended up where they were, for good or bad. Because I went to school and high school with people that they had these dreams in high school. I'm going to be a chiropractor. I'm going to be a chef. And then I looked down the road, and a lot of them never even took one step down that path. And I just had this curiosity, why was it? Was it just convenience? Was it lack, a fear that they had of trying to move forward into some of these different aspects of life? And now I kind of get to do that. I get to interview people and find out how they ended up where they were.
It's cool, their stories, huh?
Yeah, stories are great.
Stories are amazing. Luke, from where he was to Luke Lofthouse's podcast still hits me. I still listen to that, and I still learn new things. But Ron Dunford, how did you become a CEO and build Schreiber's Foods to this globally incredibly successful business? And I can't wait to talk to him about that. We'll have Steve Hansen on, who's a former Mountain Crest baseball coach, one of the winningest baseball coaches ever in state history in Utah. And a 2-time state champ. He's been to a couple other state championships, so we'll have a chance to chat with him in September, and then hopefully working on another guest. We're trying to set up a date and time with him, but this will be fun in season 2. Surprised you actually made it this far. I know the Las Vegas line for you on podcast. I don't think the line was that big here. I don't think we're gonna make it through 20 episodes. So
Ajay, I'm not surprised. But do you know why? Because you're persistent. And you're good at making it happen. If it wasn't for you,
Jaycee picked the phone.
Yes, no. If it wasn't for you, we would have been done. So,
because Jaycee wanted to be done.
No, I don't want to be done. But Ajay, it's because you've done such a good job of making sure that we have guests, making sure that we are lined up for time. I've had comments on people that go, we listen to the podcast, we think it's interesting, and
I don't even know if that's good or bad.
Oh, it is good that people are listening. So we'll continue to hang out with some cool people and learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks to all our sponsors again: Bridgewood Adventure Park, Stokes Law Firm, Guild Mortgage of Bowden Co. Real Estate. I'm missing somebody. The Spa
Trouvé, top of Utah.
Dude, see, you guys kind of shorten these scene names up.
Trouvé.
The last one was Med V Spa.
It was MV Med Spa.
Yes, that. Dude, I can't do it, man.
That's easy. MV Spa. That was Spa Trouvé.
Spa Trouvé, top of Utah. Big thanks to them. And a big thanks to the Painted Roses for always welcoming us in. Cole Stalker and this group, find them on Apple Music and Spotify. And then Adam Lurcher, producer Adam, who does our podcast, puts this all together. We appreciate him.
Yeah. Hey, is there a comment section? Can people comment?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, look, give us...
There's only like 2 comments, though.
Well,
one was like, hey, JC's good, Ajay's better. The other one was, Sam was always better than JC. That was the only 2 comments I saw.
Well, that was Sam writing that.
Hey, by the way, we're still the 4.5 star mark, so we're hitting our mark there. 4.5 stars.
Good. But look, if you have ideas, if you have guests we should have on, like write a message. Hit us up. Let's get moving.
That's a good idea, dude.
Oh, it is. Ajay, who do you want to get on? In your dream world, who do you get on?
My dream world? Oh, man, I have some really unrealistic expectations.
Well, give me an unrealistic expectation right now.
Okay, Tom Brady. Boom.
Reach out to him.
He's busy.
Right now.
He's a little busy right now.
No, everyone's busy.
Yeah,
What does he got to be busy?
I mean, you were busy. So you were busy the whole entire
He's retired.
time. Yeah, well, he was retired. Now he's going back there. He's going to the broadcasting world, speaking of podcasts. That guy's like, I went from being a player to now being a broadcaster.
Good. Well, that's natural. That's easy, especially when they're going to pay you $120 million or something like that.
Oh, dude, he's making... I mean, if I can make that for calling women's basketball games for Utah State, absolutely.
Who else?
But what about you? Okay, so, like, honestly, Ron Dunford of C, like, I want to interview business people, like, because they're successful business people. I want to know how they are successful, and I want to see if they'll hire me, like, as, like, you know, their private assistant or something. What about you, JC? I mean, you're a successful basketball player, like...
I want to get a bunch of my former teammates.
Just so they can talk about you? Come on, JC.
No.
Like, let's expand our horizon.
So we can look, because they're gonna you're gonna have dudes from Lithuania, dudes from Spain, dudes from Greece, and I think it'd be really fun to talk about that kind of stuff. And it's my fault we haven't. I've reached out to a bunch of them. They're like, yeah, we'd love
Did
to be
you
on.
reach out to Luca? Because I told you we have to Luca for like 6 months.
We'll get Luca.
Speaking of not doing anything right now, Luca.
What are you talking about?
He's not doing anything.
How do you know?
Because he lost in the Olympics.
Oh my! The Olympics have been over no one's doing anything. He didn't make it to the Olympics. Slovenia didn't make it, by the way.
Hey, I gotta tell you something. Speaking of Kate, you guys can hit us up on Twitter. Someone messaged me on Twitter. I need to share this with you, and I promised him I would. Aggie fan Dan messaged me, and he says, "Did you know you can play international and plays Jaycee Carroll from Real Madrid on NBA 2K17?" Which, by the way, was horribly rated. Tell JC next time you see him. I might be selling my games and console to get the Xbox Series S to play the new video game, so I would gladly give it to him.
Oh, boom, let's
So
go.
since you have all these posters of you...
Oh, my goodness. There's not posters of me. There's pictures of experiences and news. My wife did a nice job of putting some
What's
stuff.
that experience right there? Laying up a basketball?
Okay, that is a painting. I have it. There's a painting in my home. It's in my office. It's not like in the front door or anything like that. That a high school kid did of me. It's 3.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
It's 3 paintings that create one big picture, and it's unbelievably well done.
It is. It really is.
Is that kid not talented?
Well, I do have one gripe.
My muscles are too big.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's what that look like.
You look like one of those biblical characters in those cartoon drawings. Like your muscles are way done.
These are 2008. I was at the peak performance, 39.5-inch max vert.
That's definitely not 4K.
Benching some people might think it's a little bit.
I'm going to ask Gary Ty.
Benching 250.
I'm definitely going to ask Gary and Ty.
Oh, they know. I was good in the weight room. Anyway, it's a very well done painting. It deserves to be somewhere not sitting in a box. Other than that, I've got the Utah State Hall of Fame thing they gave me. What am I supposed to do with it? Am I not supposed to put it up?
Trophies and pictures of JC everywhere.
The trophy case is one small little cabinet.
Aggie fan Dan wants to give you an item of you playing of like NBA 2K17. Well, doesn't even have you on the cover.
Hey,
but playing it for Real Madrid.
Well, yeah. Hey, as long as Aggie fan Dan isn't a crazy person, let's have him come on for 10 minutes. Let's talk to Aggie fan Dan.
He's just why, so he could brag about you for 10 minutes?
No, so we can get his perspective on
Jaycee Carroll.
Maybe he might be the most interesting person you've ever met. He might be. Look, and maybe it's Tom Brady. Maybe Tom Brady has a handle that this Aggie fan Dan. That's it.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does.
So respond to him, see what he's up to. Make sure he's cool.
He's cool. He's a cool guy. All right. Well, JC, thank you. I look forward to doing this again with you. Hopefully you'll remember, the schedule of the podcast. I texted you already, so you should have the schedule.
If it's on my schedule, I'm there.
Hey, are you ever going to take me golfing?
No, I'm not going to take you golfing. You say you're not any good.
I said I'm a great caddy.
No, I don't need it. What makes you a good caddy?
Because I can hand you the golf club, and then
Can you tell me what club to hit?
and then I can spring. You already know what club to hit.
Can you read the drill?
No, you already know what club to hit.
Can you tell me what the wind conditions are? How to dress?
It's blowing from the northwest. Look, all you have to do, you chuck grass in the air, and then you see where the wind. And then what I do is I grab a water ball and I spray it into your mouth. Okay, I go, hey, say ah. You go ah, and I spray water in your mouth. And then I give you a big pat on the butt. A good game.
Hey, do you know how to play any golf games?
Yes.
Can you play Baker?
Yes. Full Baker.
Can you play Wolf?
Yeah.
Can you play Mafia?
Yeah. Shoot, I was in the mall.
Do you know any? That's it. Do you know any golf games?
What is this, Grand Theft Auto? Yes, I know. The Wolf?
No.
Mafia?
You don't know
Baker?
No.
That's all GTA 5, baby.
I've never even played that game. Never played what is it, Step?
GTA, Grand Theft Auto?
Never played.
You got to expand your horizons, JCK. Get out of Spain and get off the golf course.
Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64 is as far as I went in video games.
Man, JC, you really, really miss out.
It's unbelievable.
I'm going to buy you a PS5 for Christmas.
Well, someone's going to give me one. What's he giving me?
He's going to give you he's going to give you NBA 2K17.
The game.
Yeah. So, and you're not even going to play.
My ratings are too low.
You're probably going to find like a picture of it, screenshot it, and then print it, and then frame it and put it on the wall.
Oh my God. I'm gonna give Ajay permission to take a picture of a couple things that he's talking about, so people can see I'm not that vain.
Oh man! All right. Well, again, thanks for everybody listening. Again, 4.5 stars. Rate us, please, and comment who you'd want us to interview. Realistically interview
or unrealistically.
Is Luca? Oh wait, Luca would be sweet. Luca would be amazing. So I think I'd love to hear like that 20-0 star, like that video.
He talks about it in an interview.
Dude, I want to chat with you both.
I was at that game.
Yeah,
I was sitting on the bench where that was happening.
Oh, you're on the bench? I don't know if you're on the court of the bench.
I was on the bench during that run. I started the next game.
Yeah, I want to get him on that. Ricky Rubio would be another one good too. That's actually Ricky Rubio would be really, really good for multiple reasons. On the court, but then also off the court, like his mental health aspect and all that stuff.
I think we could probably get Ricky. Although, to be perfectly honest,
would he big time you?
No. I think Ricky would. I think we could get him on. The only thing, if he's still involved with Barcelona, and maybe a Real Madrid guy, people don't understand what that's like. Like, I did a commercial once where I threw an alley-oop to a Barcelona player, and
did he get banned?
We were done, and Real Madrid came in and said, or press said, we have to redo that. I said, why? I said, we can't have you throw an alley-oop pass to Barcelona.
You kid?
You have to do it to a different team.
I'm kidding.
It's goofy.
Oh, you know another guy I want to interview? Stu Morrill.
Oh, he'd be great.
He'd be wonderful. I would love to sit. There was one interview I've never been so nervous for, and was Stu Morrill. Like, he was awesome. He was so kind and gracious too.
He'd be great. He'd be great. He'd be very honest and very open. Yeah, he's had some great players come through.
But here's the thing, JC. You know what all these interviews have in common? You have to set them up. I can't call. Stu's going to be like, I don't do media anymore. And if you call me, I'll be like, absolutely, whatever you need, JC. My favorite player ever, the one who I always gave the ball to.
No, not his favorite player ever.
Okay, Luca. I'd be like, hey, Luca. He'd be like, no. And then you'd be like, hey, Luca, it's JC, the guy who watched you get beat 20-0 in the first 5 minutes of a basketball game. He'd be like, absolutely.
Well, it wasn't just him. There were other guys on the court, and they had a lot to do with that.
I'm just saying, you got to take
20-0 start.
You're going to have to take responsibility in these things happening for me.
No, we will.
Okay.
We'll get some.
All right, big thanks to everybody for listening to the podcast. 4.5 stars. Thank you all. This has been Unequaled.
Bridgeland Adventure Park is closed for the 2024 summer. That doesn't mean you can't start thinking about next summer. Bridgeland Adventure Park's already accepting reservations for group parties next year. Corporates, family groups, youth groups, you name it. Bring them all out and experience an adventure with us. Located at 722 South First Light Drive in Garden City, Utah, you can call at 435-946-2246 or visit the website at blap.rocks.
One too many a mistake. If you help me find my way, I promise I'll do the same one day. How we thought we had it planned. We thought we had the world in hand, and now I've got it bad. All the good times that I thought we had.